I'm giving this short tribute in honor of our dear friend in two folds. Firstly, as an ex-officio councillor of the Kwelu New Seven City Council, where I served as mayor, and as a permanent chief member of Parliament Emeritus of the Sierra Leone Parliament, where I'm currently serving as a sitting member of Parliament. During my short stay in the UK, I spent most of my leisure as a holder of diplomatic passports. I spent most of my leisure time at the British Parliamentary Library in London, where I did a little research on the scramble and partition of West Africa, with special concentration on Sierra Leone and in particular, Connaught districts. During those oxymoronic periods, I came to realize that our critically ill paramount chief, Kaimachende, was the grandson of Kaimachende Ba, Kaimachende the Great, the first paramount chief of Bensen Chiefdom. He happened to be one of the faithful lieutenants to a warlord named Tao Kaba, who became ruler of the whole of Bensen and Fiama prior to the declaration of the Interland as a protectorate in 1896. Consequent upon this declaration, Tao Kaba divided his dominion into two chiefdoms, Bensen and Fiama chiefdoms, between Kaimachende Ba and Kontandem Biwa, respectively. Our seriously ill paramount chief is a son of PC heir, Kaimachende II, and grandson of Kaimachende Ba. During one of our several conversations, he told me that he attended the EUB primary school in Kwelu and then the Kaima primary school, after which he proceeded to the Albert Academy in Freetown. He later went to the United Kingdom and opted to read law. He later went to the United Kingdom and opted to read law. He told me also that he worked for the Secret Service Department of the Embassy of the Arab Emirates in England. As the unit consul, Jala University student president, then in 2003, I monitored the terminally ill PC Kaimachende's permanent chieftaincy election with maximum concentration on the 13th of January in 2003. And he won that election by a landslide percentage of 85 of valid votes in his favor, beating other contestants included Kombabona and Sam Max Tolly at the Kwelu Community Center under the Provincial Secretary of John Banya, and Kambaliu as the acting SDO, my former immediate boss. I once worked as a deputy chief administrator at the Connaught District Council. All this happened under the watch of two accessory paramount chiefs, PC Kabasai of Penguia Sandaru and PC Samuel Momo Soloko of Toli Chiefdom in the Connaught District. As a colleague councillor, he was the host of the city council. He gave full support in the council throughout my tenure of office, to my own procedural removal as mayor of Kwelu City. The least said about that, the better. He was one of the development-oriented paramount chiefs, I will tell you. He built a secondary school at Yadu, the original headquarters of Bensen Chiefdom. The chiefdom last decided to name that school after him, Kaimachende Memorial Secondary School, in recognition of his efforts to promote education in the Connaught District. Our terminally ill paramount chief also spearheaded the construction of feeder roads and bridges in the Bensen Chiefdom. He also gave 418 acres of land on pro bono basis. And he also gave 100 acres of land for the construction of the offices of MDAs in the Emerson Chiefdom. Can you imagine? What a kind-hearted paramount chief. You push. As long as it is for the development of all the streets, he's always there. Standing for Kono, whenever I make meaningful contribution in the interest of Kono District, he will call me over live. Yes, that's my MP. I will die for a year. That's good. In the interest of Kono, I will always stand to support you. That was what he used to tell me whenever there is a debate that will favor Kono District. In a different chapter, as a permanent chief member of Parliament Emeritus representing Kono District, between 2007 and 2012, the parliamentary hazards has accordingly informed me that he was an articulate and constructive debater, an outstanding socialite who frequently used to offer drinks and food to his colleague members of parliament at the parliamentary canteen. During those days as an MP, he was a member of the Committee of Mines and Mineral Resources, the committee I presently chair, and Committee on Local Government and Rural Development. He was a fine lawmaker. When he stood to speak to issues, he did that with fervor, eloquence, and he was very, very convincing. I was in his entourage at State House on Independence Day in 2019 when H.E. the President, retired Brigadier Julius Malabio, decorated him with a national award of member of the Order of the Rukeo. He had a beautiful retreat facility at Yadu, where he often received and entertained visitors and chief novellas with sumptuous meals, including goat pepper soup. My understanding is that he usually would supervise the preparation of the goat pepper soup served to his guests to ensure quality. Because of his love for goat pepper soup, he said to have nicknamed one of his sons SO2 Bakune, meaning goat head. Kaimachende, that was the name. Bakune Kaimachende, meaning in our L1, goat head Kaimachende. He was a friendly man, and his friendship cuts across political and tribal lines. He touched the lives of many people in a positive way. I was in Douala, Cameroon, among the delegation of supporters of our darling Leon Stars, when I got information that my friendly paramount chief has embarked in a journey to his forefathers. I asked myself, why must he do so now? My thought ran straight to a statement in one of William Shakespeare's classic tragedies, a book that I cherished during my high school days, in Macbeth, and I quote, when the news of the death of his wife was broken down in him, that he should have died thereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this dusty path, and all our yesterday has lighted full of dusty death. Out, out, out! Brief candle. Life is like a walking shadow, a power player that short and frets its hour on the stage, and then it's hard. No more. A tale told by an idiot, full of fury, signifying nothing. Distinguished mourners, never you say a man is great until you see his funeral. I've seen this funeral, and I can say without any iota of doubt that it is one befitting a great man who made that sad but inevitable journey on the 11th January 2022. Rest in power our dear Paramount Chief, Honorable Sir Fengai Kaimachende III of Benson Chidom.